Yo, what's going on, boys? How you guys doing today? Welcome back to another YouTube video. In today's video, we're gonna be taking a look at the brand new solstice weapon. It's a bow this time, and it's called the Fortunate Star. We're gonna look at what makes this weapon special, what are the perks that I can roll with, what are the perks that you should be going for if you're looking for a god roll of this weapon, and lastly, we're gonna have a mini review where I just kind of tell you the positives, negatives, and just the things that I like or dislike about the weapon. But before we get into that, let's actually talk about how to get this weapon. And you're going to be able to get this weapon the same way you get the other solstice weapons, by doing the event activity. And if you're looking for a good bow, you're actually in luck, because for some reason it seems like you always get at least 2 to 3 bows basically every run. I don't know if it's like weighted more towards the bow since it's the new weapon, but my god, you get so many bows. And this bow is going to have some pretty fantastic perks for PVE. For Crucible, we have a couple that are going to be good, but this is definitely more towards a PVE bow. Now this bow is a lightweight frame bow, meaning that it draws quicker and you also move faster when this weapon is equipped. So it's just gonna make just the bow feel a little better. And it also comes with 2 different origin traits. The first one being Dream Work. Whenever you get assist or assist to final blows, this bow is gonna get faster draw time. And we also have Bystander. Whenever we're damaging enemies, there's a chance that this perk will proc and it will give us faster draw speed. So they're both gonna do something similar. They're basically gonna make you fire the weapon a little faster, but I think Dream Work in this case is a little better since it's easier to proc. Now let's actually move on and talk about the perks in this weapon. We're gonna be starting off with the strings and then move over to the trait perks. We're not really gonna spend too much time on the arrow and the bowstring though. Now starting with the string, the main thing that we're looking for is something that reduces our draw time. So in PvE, things like elastic string or flexible string are both going to be pretty good. They both are going to reduce our draw time. We do take a hit on accuracy, but accuracy won't matter as much for PvE. Now for Crucible, where accuracy does matter, we want to go for something like polymer string, which is also going to decrease our draw time, just by not as much as some of the other ones, but we also get +5 accuracy from it, so this is going to be like the perfect one for Crucible. Now moving on to the arrows. For PvE, it's really not gonna matter. You could go with any arrow and it'll be fine. Now for Crucible, we're gonna be looking for things that increase our accuracy. So that would be fiberglass, arrow shaft, or straight fletching would both be pretty good. They're both gonna give us a pretty nice accuracy increase, so we can have better accuracy in Crucible. And yeah, that's what you wanna go for on your string and your arrow. And now let's move on to the things that really matter. Let's take a look at some of those trait perks, and this is where we're going to spend most of our time. Now these are the options that we're going to have for the first perk. We have Archer's Temple, Repulsor Brace, Successful Warm-Up, Enlightened Action, Headfire Grip, Air Trigger, and lastly Loose Change. So let's first start by taking a look at some PvE ones. For PvE, we're going to be taking a look at Archer's Temple, Repulsor Brace, Successful Warm-Up, and Enlightened Action. First, let's start with Successful Warm-Up and Archer's Temples, since they both do a very similar thing, which is reduce our draw time. For Archer's Temple, it'll reduce it on precision hit by 25%, while for Successful Warm-Up, it's gonna reduce it by more, 37.5%, but you are gonna need a kill. Well, for Archer's Temple, all you need is a precision hit. They're both gonna be pretty good. I would say that whenever it's easier to kill the ads, something like Successful Warm-Up is gonna be better, but if you run into ads that are tankier, then something like Archer's Temple will be better, because all you need is that precision hit. So it really is going to come down to like the situation and the activity you're playing. Next up, we have Repulsor Brace. Whenever we defeat a void debuff target, it will give us an overshield. And yes, we do have destabilizing rounds in the other slot, so destabilizing with Repulsor Brace is a combo that this bow can make. So it's going to work very well with that. You're basically always going to get some overshields. And it's also going to work very well with any void type builds. So if you're going for a void build, then Repulsor Brace is what you want to use. Or if you want the Repulsor Brace destabilizing combo, then that's something you could also do. And the last one I want to take a look at is going to be Enlightened Action. Whenever we damage with the weapon, it increases our reload speed and handling. This is just going to make the bow feel a little bit better. The reload speed on this bow is actually not that bad, just like a default. But it is an option that you can still go with in case you feel like the bow's a little too slow. Is it as good as some of the other options? I don't think it is, but it's definitely an option you could go with. Now for the Crucible, I think the best ones are definitely going to be Archer's Temple, Enlightened Action, and also Hipfire Grip for a very specific situation. And that's if you want to go with Archer's Gambit, which is another perk that you can get on the other slot and just gonna hit fire like crazy. Archer's Gambit plus Hipfire Grip is gonna make this weapon really accurate from the hip. So if that's something that you want to do, then Hipfire Grip is there. For everyone else, basically Enlighten Action and Archer's Temple is gonna be the go-to. Archer's Temple is gonna be especially good because it lets you do that follow-up shot for the kill just a little faster. Now moving on to the second perk, these are going to be our options. We have Archer's Gambit, Destabilizing Rounds, Golden Tricorn, Opening Shot, Precision Instrument, Disruption Break, and lastly we have Kill Clip. So once again, let's start with PVE, and there's a couple of them that we want to take a look at. It's going to be Archer's Gambit, Destabilizing Rounds, Golden Tricorn, and Precision Instrument. Let's start with the easiest one, Precision Instrument. Every time we do some damage, it increases our precision damage. This is gonna be pretty good since most of the time we want to go for precision damage anyways. So increasing our damage just by hitting a target is gonna be fantastic on the bow. Especially since when we stack it up high enough, we're gonna be dealing plus 25% increased damage. Which is pretty nice, and this perk is also gonna pair up perfectly with Archer's Temple. Meaning that every time we hit a precision hit, not only are we gonna be increasing our damage, but we're also gonna be increasing our draw time. Meaning that we can stack damage buff even faster. So that's gonna be a pretty good combo that you can do in PvE. That's gonna definitely be good against some bigger enemies. Next up, we're gonna have Golden Tricorn, which is gonna give us a damage buff whenever we get a kill with a weapon, and then we can increase the damage buff even more by getting a kill with an ability that matches our weapon. Golden Tricorn just got fixed recently, so it's not as easy to proc as it was before when it was glitch, but it's still a pretty fantastic perk that gives you some pretty nice, decent damage. At base, when you get a kill with the weapon, it's 15, but then if you get a kill with an ability, it brings that damage up all the way to 50%, which is an insane damage buff that not a lot of things get close to 50%. So I definitely still see Golden Tricorn as an option, but on like lower end content. Once you get high enough, I think Precision Instrument is definitely just going to be the play. After that, we're going to have Destabilizing Rounds. Whenever we get a kill, it will make nearby targets volatile. This is going to be great for getting a bit of extra AoE damage, and like I said before, it works perfectly with not only Repulsor Brace, but any Void build. So that's the perk that you want to go for, if you want this for your Void builds. And lastly, we have Archer's Gambit. Whenever we get some hit-fire precision hits, it grants a massive draw speed bonus for a short duration. And when you hear massive draw speed bonus, it is indeed pretty massive. It's like a 60% decrease to draw time, which is insane. And I know what you're thinking, this thing would be insane with something like Archer's Temple, but they don't really stack together. So if you go Archer's Gambit, do not go Archer's Temple, because it's not really gonna do anything. It just kind of overwrites the draw time from Archer's Temple. It doesn't really stack on top of each other. But it's definitely still going to be pretty good, and if you pair it up with Hipfire Grip, it'll make it a little easier to hit those Hipfire shots. Now for the Crucible, I would say either Opening Shot or Precision Instrument is going to be your go-to. I definitely lean more towards Opening Shot though, especially Opening Shot plus Archer's Temple. Meaning that Opening Shot makes it easier to hit that first shot, and then Archer's Temple makes it so you do the follow-up shot a little faster, making it a great synergy between those perks. I think that this is gonna be like the go-to PP role. Precision Instrument, I think it still can be decent, especially if you're going for multiple kills with the bow, but it definitely won't be as good, I think, as Opening Shot. Now if you're a madman with the bows in Crucible, you could also go Archer's Gambit for that insane decrease to draw time. And, you know, people that are good with it are gonna have a really good time, but if you're not good with it, you're definitely not gonna have a good time. So yeah, those are the perks I think that you should go for on this column. And now let's talk about some God Rolls. Now moving on to the God Rolls, we're gonna talk about a couple of like combos that I like. We're not gonna talk about all of them because there's so many that you could put together with this bow, since it's got a lot of good perks. But the first one we're gonna be taking a look at is Archer's Temple plus Precision Instrument. This is gonna be fantastic in PvE, and it's basically gonna be able to deal with anything. This is gonna be the role that's pretty much good with anything, ants, bigger enemies, and whenever the bows actually become an anti-champion weapon, I can see them being really good against them. Since with this combo you'll be able to speed up that damage increase by Precision Instrument, and just get more shots out there. Now the second one is going to be the classic destabilizing round repulsor brace combo. You know this combo, you know, it's always good on the weapon, on void weapons, and being on the void build makes it even better. The next one is going to be for the Headfire lovers out there, because we got Archer's Gambit plus Headfire Grip. If you want to go all in on the Headfire, then this is basically the role that you want. Now for the Crucible, we're going to have Archer's Tempo plus Opening Shot. This is just going to work together really well to get you those skills. You hit that first shot easily with Opening Shot, and then clean them up with that increased draw speed from Archer's Tempo. It's just like perfect. And lastly, we have the obligatory Disruption Break, plus literally anything, because this one's for weapon swaps. And while I didn't really discuss Disruption Break when I was going over the perks, I just figured kind of like most people knew, and if not, you know, I'll add it here. But Disruption Break, essentially whenever you break someone's shields, it makes them more vulnerable to kinetic damage, meaning that you can clean them up with a hand cannon really easily. And that's the bow swap. You know, the bow swap's been in the game for a long time, and it's still very effective. So that's something else that you can run for the Crucible. Those two are the ones that you want to go for the Crucible. But remember, like I said, there's definitely a lot of different combinations you can make with this bow. So don't just take these as being the good combinations, because there's definitely more in there. But those are the ones that I think are interesting, and the ones that I think that you should go for. Let me know in the comments below what is the god that you're going to be going for, and if there's a perk that I should have mentioned, or you think I should have mentioned that I didn't. Anyways, let me know that in the comments below. And now let's talk about this weapon a little bit. Now most of my time with this weapon has been in PVE, so you know, just putting that out there. But I really like it. I actually really like the faster draw time from just the origin trait. When it kicks in, you definitely feel it. It basically just makes the bow feel a little better, no matter like what role you're actually using. I was using one with these stabilizing rounds, so I kind of went all in on the void build, and it was pretty good. It felt really nice to shoot. I really like the feeling of the weapon, which is kind of surprising because I'm not a big fan of like lightweight frame bows. They typically like would feel too weak for me, but this one just kind of feels right. I don't know if it's like changes that have been done to the lightweight frames and I just haven't like played with them in a while, but it definitely feels very good in PvE, and there's a lot of different perk combos that are really good. Like I said, I was mostly playing these stabilizing rounds plus repulsor brace. Sometimes I didn't have repulsor brace and had instead Archer's Tempo, but they both feel really good. Now for the Crucible, I only played a couple games, but I would still say that the weapons still feel pretty good. If you like bows in Crucible, you're gonna like this one. If you don't like bows though, I don't think this one's gonna change your mind. It's a good bow, don't get me wrong, but it's definitely not a bow that's gonna change your view of bows in the Crucible. It's just a good bow for bow lovers of the Crucible. Overall, I definitely like the weapon, and there's a couple of roles that I'm gonna be going for. But anyways, thank you all for watching today. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did, dislike if you didn't, subscribe to the channel in case you guys are not already. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care everyone. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.